Bishop of the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada, Clyde Martin Harvey, has described the recently held Diocesan Pastoral Council meeting as the process of moving from one understanding of the Church to another, while encouraging the Church to be open to that process. Last Saturday's meeting attracted various representatives from each parish as the diocese moves to re-establish a Diocesan Pastoral Council as a key pillar in building church. Saturday's meeting set the pace for the thought-provoking process of generating suggestions as to how the council should function and who should serve on that council.
But when the great theologians of the pre-council period, Yves Congar, Henri de Lubac, some of the names that ring loud, began to look again at what the early church was about, what they became clear on is that we are talking about a Christian community. We are talking about Christian communities, and therefore, if we want to recapture the authentic spirit of the gospel, we must put the emphasis again on the church as a community. Not the church as an institution which is saving your soul, but the church as a community of people who are bearing witness to Christ's message and Christ's presence in the world, and in bearing that witness are uniting themselves with Christ, who is saving the world. He's saving the world, okay?
The council, once established, will be charged with 9 main areas of responsibilities, including working in partnership with the Bishop of the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada so that pastoral activity can more effectively serve the mission of the Church and meet the needs of the people, as well as identifying the challenges and needs of the diocese, which the council considers to be of pastoral urgency, and subsequently making the appropriate recommendations to the Bishop of the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada.
The vision of the book of Revelation, which is the last book of the scriptures, is not a vision of individuality. It is a vision of a huge number, impossible to count, coming together to worship the Lamb. That worship of the Lamb is what is the core image that drives them in their understanding of salvation. What we are doing now is understanding that that togetherness is not only for the next life. That togetherness must begin now. The church must be that space in which we get together now, valuing each other now as sign and sacrament of salvation.
Saturday's meeting examined the functions and terms of reference for the Pastoral Council, which then enables participants to consider who within the various parishes are best fitted to serve.
We did some wonderful things under COVID, but there are also some wonderful things that we didn't do that needed to be done within our church. And what I've been hearing about, and people call me quite a bit, is people who say, I can't go to church, Bishop, and nobody comes to see me. Nobody comes to see me. That's one of the things ad intra, inside of the church, that we have to deal with, right? Who are the people who have fallen through the cracks because of COVID? How can we reach out to them? And here it is vital that we share our experiences. When I said not me, mine, or ours, it's important for the average parish council to understand that if we have an experience of Christ, it's not for us to keep on saying, yes, we are the better parish. It's to share with others. And that's one of the things that we did at a meeting at the Trade Center, to share those experiences.
Bishop Harvey, in pointing out how the council is expected to function, highlighted a few challenges and lessons to be learned stemming from the experience of the COVID-19 pandemic. In his presentation, Bishop Harvey also reflected on the basic principles of Christian witnessing, which should encompass the work of the individuals and parish councils.
The first thing I want to suggest is we have to become serious about our spirituality. And this is not about simply whether I feel holy or whether I am going to Mass every Sunday and so on. It is about the kind of relationship that I have with the Lord. I live, no, not I, Christ lives in me. Some of you will have heard me talk about that, refer to that often, because that is one of the bedrocks, I think, of all spirituality. This sense that we ought to have, that we have to develop ourselves, yes, but we do not develop ourselves, as the world says, simply so that I might be. We develop ourselves so that we might deny ourselves and allow God to work in us and through us. Because it is only if we have done the work of the human development that God is able to work in us. When you're getting married to somebody, the only thing they say to you is, I love you. Run. Right? Find out who they are. Find out whether they have spent time working on I live. And if they have not spent any time on that, they will have nothing really to offer you. The second key I'm suggesting is communication. On the one hand, I can communicate with you, and I think I have a certain openness on that. But it's about more than just talk. It's about networking in the parish, networking in the diocese. There's some people who are very good at it, right? And the parish council should be the place, and the diocesan council for the diocese, where people are able to do that networking, but that networking with a reference to the networking that you're doing outside of the council. So that again, if you're having a discussion within a council, that there should be some reference to who do we have to talk to outside the council for what we're doing to make sense. And then accountability. Accountability to each other and to God. We have not been very good at that.
Bishop Harvey reminded the gathering of the See, Judge, Act method, which has guided Catholic action since the 1950s. A true Christian must be able to move beyond analysis and talk to action, which transforms for kingdom living.
See, Judge, Act. If we just have those principles in our heads, what a difference it would make. See, judge, act. See, an accurate analysis of the situation, the real lived context of the ecclesial community, some research. How many of us can say that we know what's going on in our parish? I'm not talking about the parish church. I'm talking about the context in which we are. The people of Windward, Carriacou is a unit, right? Do the people of Windward and Hillsborough know what's going on in Carriacou? Right? Do you understand? Do you confront that? Do you look at it? Right? See it. One of the challenges of Christian witness today, and he has articulated it very clearly, that we must become a church of the poor, where we develop structures and so on, which enable the poor to be subjects of their own destiny. In other words, I'm not doing something for you. I am creating a space within which you can come and do something with us for yourself. So the judging is a discernment and a decision as to where the Spirit is leading us. Right? And here again, the conversion from me and mine to ours. Where is the Spirit leading us as we face this particular issue? If a hurricane were to come to Grenada this season, where would the Spirit be leading us? How many of us as parishes have sat down and asked ourselves, do we have a plan if a hurricane comes?
Having set the tone regarding criteria and mission of the soon-to-be established Diocesan Pastoral Council, Bishop Harvey admonished participants to gear up for the real role of stewardship by adopting the right principles and attitude.
That calls for vision. That calls for some people to be able to say, yes, I think this is where we ought to go. For the rest to say, yes, this is where I think the Spirit is leading us. And then action. We are not about sitting down and just saying, okay, right. So I say keys for those who knock. There's this beautiful image in the book of Revelation. Behold, I stand and knock. Right. And right now, we are a Catholic community knocking at the door. And God, we're asking God to open a door for us so that we might be able to go through it into the new generation.
We take this opportunity to encourage parishioners to be a part of the process as the Diocese of St. George's in Grenada moves towards re-establishing the Diocesan Pastoral Council. All hands on board, directly or indirectly. Together, we cross that bridge in moving the diocese forward.